Your business doesn't break randomly. It breaks exactly when you do. Think about your last quarter. Were you in chaos, doubting yourself, distracted, trying to do too many things? Of course you were. That is not a coincidence. That is cause and effect. And over the past 5 years, I've worked one-on-one with over 300 entrepreneurs, generating between 100K a year to 35 million. And one even sold his business for 9 figures. 100% of them scaled the revenue after training the core reason that was keeping them stuck: their chaotic mind, drowning in stress and chaos. What changed wasn't strategy. What changed was the system running the strategy. Today, I'm going to show you why your business problems aren't business problems at all. They're operating problem disguised as strategy problem. And until you fix the operator, no funnel, offer, and tactic will save you. What nobody tells you is that you cannot scale a 100K a month business with a 1K a month identity. The bottleneck is not knowing what to do. The bottleneck is consistently doing it. It's how you think, focus, and execute every single day. But the good news is that if you are the problem, you are also the solution. And every elite founder was once an average founder who was scattered and needed help mastering his mind. If you believe your business problems stem from having all the external factors in line, the right offer, the right niche, the right timing, the right team, that's not true, because even weak offers, bad niches, and weak sales strategy can be fixed if your mind is thinking clearly. But if you have the perfect strategy but you cannot execute on it, you will fail. Most founders try to scale their business with running with 200 open tabs of mental noise. No strategy survives that. I've seen founders jump from 30K a month to 300K a month without changing their strategy. The problem was never the strategy. It was the system running the strategy, their own mind. Understand that your mental skills permeate everything: how you plan, how you hire, how you lead. And if you do not upgrade your ability to think and execute, you will not scale. And this is not my opinion. Neuroscience have proven that when you're under chronic stress, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision making, shuts down. So if your brain cannot access high-level thinking, your business will suffer. If you already know what to do but you're not doing it, the problem is execution, not strategy. You cannot out-strategize a mind that resists execution. You must train it to consistently execute. And elite founders work with coaches, psychologists, performance architects to train their mind to think, execute, and perform as intensely as they train their strategy. The biggest unlock in life is total ownership of your internal state. You don't need more tactics to win. You need to weaponize your mind. And this goes beyond mindset, affirmation, or journaling your way out of self-doubt. This is about performance rewiring. It's about changing the way your brain works, especially under stress and pressure. So that elite thinking and consistent performance are not an occasional miracle. They are daily, controllable asset. And founders don't fail because they lack effort. They fail because they try to fix execution problems with superficial solutions. Meditation, podcasts, planners, YouTube videos, which may be useful, but they're not surgical. They calm the chaos, but they don't train the system. You're not lazy, inconsistent, or distracted. You are untrained. Now, execution bottlenecks are not easy to fix because they're mostly unconscious. They're rooted in your internal state. And it all hinges on a very simple fact. Your mind never evolved to have you operating at peak performance in business. It's wired for survival. Every loop of hesitation, distraction, perfectionism is because your untrained mind still views execution as an existential threat, and it reacts to protect you, creating unnecessary friction. The solution is never tactical, it's always neurological. The good news is these mental blocks are not random. They're predictable, systematic, and most importantly, fixable. The second you upgrade your ability to think, everything else becomes easier. I worked with a guy last year who always had the same patterns. He will start Monday with very clear priority. On Tuesday, he would get overwhelmed with unexpected stuff. And Wednesday, he would start questioning the entire plan. By Thursday, he was researching new approaches. And on Friday, he was panicking because he had lost one more week. And this went over 2 years. His business was making money, but way less than he could have made if he didn't sabotage himself. He was suffering from an untrained mind. Once we rewrite his mental response to uncertainty and execution, his revenue doubled within 6 months without changing the strategy, only by actually doing what he committed on doing. When you train your mind correctly, You train all brain areas that are responsible for getting things done. Your prefrontal cortex strengthens, so your decisions improve. Your amygdala becomes less reactive, so you reduce emotional hijacking. Your anterior cingulate cortex improves, so you get more focus. You literally rebuild your brain for peak performance. Real peak performance is not a gimmick. It is the natural outcome of rewiring your brain for it. When you train your mind this way, it becomes the most powerful tool. This is your most important unfair advantage. And I've worked with hundreds of guys, and we've identified 5 types of bottlenecks that silently keep you stuck. It's spiritual, which can be a lack of purpose, a lack of direction, or a lack of intrinsic motivation. Mental, which can be wrong emotional management, bad belief patterns. It can be physical, you're low energy, you don't recover, you have compromised focus ability. Or strategic, you don't know how to plan, prioritize, and actually think things through. Or executive, you cannot get things done and do deep work. Most founders ignore training this because they think they don't have time, but the truth is, if you don't fix it, you're wasting your time, you're bleeding leverage. The cost of not solving this now is 10 times what it feels like. Eventually, if you don't do it, it becomes permanent. And I know no one teaches this, not in school, not in accelerators, not in mastermind room, but if you're obsessed with what you do and really want to be successful, you have no choice. You must train yourself because you are the real bottleneck. At Selfmastered, what we do, if the friction is spiritual, we rebuild your internal drive. If the friction is mental, we retrain your thought patterns and emotional responses. If the friction is physical, we optimize your energy, sleep, and recovery. If it is strategic, we install planning system and prioritization frameworks. If it's executive, we hardwire deep work, execution protocols, and accountability loop. This is elite performance wiring, a system designed to make you dangerous. Let me show you what a complete rewiring looks like. Let's talk about a client of ours, an income founder, who was making $300K a year, so was just starting out, but he was drowning in friction. Spiritually, he had no clear purpose beyond money. Mentally, he had anxiety spirals every time his metrics dropped. On the physical side, he was sleeping very little, he has low energy, abusing Red Bull. Strategically, he was constantly switching priorities, and executive side, he was starting projects but never finishing them. We rewired the entire system. We connected his business to the mission of helping his family get out of a bad situation they were in. We installed emotional regulation protocols to rewire his mind. We optimized his sleep, his nutrition, his exercise routine, and his recovery for peak performance. We also settled on one strategy that he committed on executing and not changing, and that is strategic rewiring. And finally, we built accountability loops to make him execute. 12 months later, his revenue was around 2.5 million, I think it was, and he was working instead of 70 hours, he was working 50 hours. See, you can keep optimizing your funnel, or you can rewire the one thing that actually makes the funnel work, which is your ability to think and get things done. The moment you rewire it, you start executing like an elite performer, and everything changes. Your team responds differently, your market responds differently, your results compound exponentially because you have eliminated the bottleneck that was limiting everything else, your own performance. And that is what we do at Selfmastered. And if you truly want to win, I believe you have no choice, and we seem to be the best at this. So I would encourage you to book a decoding session with us so we can really get to the root of your lack of execution and give you a proven roadmap that if you follow it, it is guaranteed to reward you. Don't waste another day trying to scale your business with limited lateral capacity. Devote time to rewire your productivity and performance because no other investment will yield a better outcome than becoming everything you know you can be if you only get out of your own way. See you on the call.